Dear student, today we are going to discuss two important concepts of sociology as well as political sociology, and that is power and authority. A layman use these two words synonymous to each other. Sometimes they use power in place of authority and sometimes they use authority in place of power. But in sociology, these two have different meanings. Today we are going to discuss the meaning and definition of power as well as meaning and definition and types of authority. When we talk about power and authority in organization, that is considered to be a web of interrelationship which is highly complemented by formal and informal setting of authority. Power and communication. In common, authority and power are considered synonymous. When the authority to decide on a matter is vested in a position, then that position can be said to have authority. Whereas power is the ability of person to influence the behavior of others. It means power is a individual's capacity, influence capacity to influence others, while authority is legitimate power. This occurs when the behavior of an individual affecting others occurs at a very low level in the organizational hierarchy. Thus, authority is legal or legitimate, while the existence of power is non-institutional, as each position in the organizational structure is assigned certain responsibilities and adequate authority should be given to handling these responsibilities. Power and authority are the two important concepts of political sociology. Here we discuss the meaning and types of power and authority. No employee can work effectively unless he lacks the requisite authority. It means authority is important to work in any economic or social or political organization. Authority may be related to conventional arising from traditions or norms, miraculous that is charismatic arising from personal miracles or divine or special power, and legal authority arising from principles, rules, regulations laid down by the organization. Status is the position of individuals in comparison to others. Every person has a special position in the society, and in sociological term we use this position as a status. It is a kind of prestige category that is inherent in a person according to the authority. Therefore, authority, power and status are important components of administration which play an important role in motivation, job satisfaction, politics and other aspects of organizational behavior. We know that power and authority is associated with status. A person has higher status, has more power, that is power and authority are associated with the status in the society. When we discuss about the power, power is related to the personal influence of a person through which he has the ability to influence different people in the society. That is the personal capacity of an individual through which he influences the others in the society. For example, Mahatma Gandhi did not have any institutional authority. He was neither the president nor the prime minister, yet the prime ministers and presidents of many nations used to bow before his power, and that was known as the charismatic power. This source of power lies in those characteristics of a person which have the ability to influence the masses. The professors of two colleges get power from the same, but their influence, students' respect for them, fame, administration, etc. can be different. it has to do with his personal ability. Those who have personal ability then can influence more on the others. Hence, power is directly associated with the influence. Power is fundamental unit of human society. It is universal phenomena. Without power, society can't survive. Society itself is composed of power relations. A father exercising his power over his child, a master over his slave, a teacher over his student, and an employer over his employee, an army commander over a soldier, and so on. These are all examples of social power. Then what do we mean by power? Max Weber worked on power and authority also. When we talk about Max Weber's contribution, Max Weber's defined power as the ability to control the behavior of others, even in the absence of their consent. As Ian Robertson says, power is the ability to participate effectively in the decision-making process. According to N.J. Demarth III and Gerald Marvell, power may be defined as the capacity to get things done despite obstacles and resistance. If we have power, then we can remove obstacle as well as resistance in the social structure. It may be pointed out that there are many types of power and there are many ways to overcome resistance. One can threaten, cajole, influence, coerce, persuades, blackmail, induce, etc. to get one's work done. But on a large scale, power is almost always embedded with organizational structure. If we want to maintain the organization, then power is must to organize the social structure as well as political structure. Whether they be governments, political parties, business firms, schools, churches or protest movements, everywhere power. In each of these settings, power involves a kind of gamble, because there is always the risk that the people in power will betray the common trust, said by Demarth and Marvell. Power can be exercised overtly or subtly, legal or illegal, just or unjust. This can be derived from a number of sources such as wealth, status, prestige, numbers or organizational efficiency. If we have more money, we have more power. If our status is superior, then we have more power. If we have more prestige in the society, we have more power. Its ultimate basis, however, is the ability to compel obedience through the use of threat or force if necessary. Social power has been identified in different ways with prestige, influence, superiority, competence, dominance, authority, power and force. It means power is associated with so many things. First we decide the power is associated with prestige. Both are closely related. As Rose put it, the class which has been the most prestigious will have the most power. That is, prestige is associated with power and power is associated with the prestige. It can be said that powerful groups are prestigious and prestigious groups are powerful. Knowledge, excellence, skill and ability all contribute to prestige. If we have more knowledge, our prestige is higher. If we have excellence in all the field, we have more power. If we are skillful, then we have more power. All these contributes to prestige but are not necessarily accompanied by power. If power is with these factors, then the association is only incidental. The second part is power is directly related with influence. Power and influence are more closely linked. Influence, that is personal characteristics, Individual is persuasive while power is coercive. We submit willingly to influence, but power requires our submission. As can be said, they are independent variables. Influence does not require power, and power can be without influence. Similarly, power is also associated with dominance. A distinction has to be made between power and dominance. Power is a sociological phenomena and dominance is a psychological phenomena. The center of power lies in both the individual and the group, and in important cases it is in the latter. But dominance is a function of personality or temperament. It is a personal quality. It is also possible to see dominant individuals performing roles in powerless groups and submissive individuals performing roles in powerful groups. Power is one thing and dominance is quite another. But even then, we linked power with dominance. Power and rights, both are related to each other. If we are powerful, then we have more rights, and if we have more rights, then we are powerful. Right is more closely associated with privileges and authority than with power. A right is one of the preconditions of power, not of power itself. One can have a right without having the power to exercise it. The man who has power rarely waits for the right to use it, and authority always needs some support in the social structure. Similarly, power, force and authority are used synonymously, that is, power in place of force, force in place of authority, and authority in place of power. Power is not force and power is not authority, but it is related to both. As Robert B. Ristad said, power is latent force, force is manifest power, and authority is institutionalized power. Power is the prior capacity that makes the use of force possible. Only groups that have power can threaten to use force, and the threat is power itself. Power is the ability to employ force, not the actual application of it. Power always succeeds. Power thus signifies force that can be exerted in any social situation and supports the authority exerted. Hence said that power is thus neither force nor authority, but it makes both force and authority possible, as defined by Robert B. Ristad. This is the explanation of power, that is personal influence, force or dominance. In place of power, sometimes we use the word authority. Now we discuss about the authority. Authority institutionally provides such rights to the individual by which he can determine, control or plan the behavior of other individuals or group. Institutional authority can be of two types. One is informal, second is formal. The first formal, legal, and second informal, institutional. Under formal legal authority, a person gets power through legislation or law. For example, a collector has more legitimate power when he has a charge of collector in a district. Like a constable standing at the crossroads and guiding the vehicles coming and going, the constable has got this power institutionally. If the same constable is not in uniform and his duty hours have ended for that day, then he cannot give any instruction to the visitors. Similarly, a government official cannot exercise any control over his old office after transfer. This type of power is clearly defined. The authority of the father in the family can be taken up under the informal institutional authority. This right is available not to the father but to all the fathers. In some positions in the society, more power is vested, which creates its status. People in high position usually have more power. We know that collector has more power in comparison to a peon in that collectorate. No employee can work effectively unless he lacks the requisite authority. Authority may be related to conventional, arising from tradition or norms, that is known as traditional authority. Miraculous, arising from personal miracles or divine or special power, known as charismatic power. And legal authority arising from principles, rules, regulations laid down by the organization is known as legal authority. Status is the position of individuals in comparison to others. It is a kind of prestige category that is inherent in a person according to the authority. Therefore, authority, power and status are important components of administration, which plays an important role in motivation, job satisfaction, politics and other aspects of organizational behavior. On the basis of these description, many scholars defined authority, which are as follows. For example, E. A. Shields in the Dictionary of Sociology defines that authority is that form of power which orders or articulates the action of other actor through commands which are effective because those who are commanded regard the commands as legitimate. That is, legitimate power is known as the authority. Similarly, Max Weber used the term authority to refer to legitimate power. When power is legitimate, then it is known as the authority. In simple words, it can be said that authority refers to power which is regarded as legitimate in the mind of followers. Weber's notion of authority does not mean that power is legitimate and that illegitimate power plays no role in the society. Weber simply argued that legitimacy is a general condition for the most effective and enduring expressions of power. Hence, he discussed about the traditional authority and charismatic authority, which has no legitimacy. Even then, he classified three types of authority. One is traditional, second is legal, and third is charismatic. Nevertheless, this legitimacy can take different forms and different justifications. As Ian Robertson has stated that power based on authority is usually unquestionably accepted by those to whom it is applied. For obedience to it has become a social norm, that is traditional and charismatic authority. On the other hand, power based on coercion is unstable as people obey only out of fear and will disobey at the first opportunity. For this reason, every political system must be considered legitimate if its participants are to survive. It means legitimate power is essential for a political structure or political system or for political process. The legitimacy of authority is ultimately a matter of belief in the legitimacy of the institutional system through which authority is exercised. It depends on the correctness of the exerciser's authority in the official role with the institutional system. It also depends on the correctness of the order or the manners of its promulgations. Weber describes three ideal types of legitimation which corresponds to the three types of authority. The following characteristics of authority emerge from the above discussion. We can clarify the characteristics of authority. The authority is the same form of influence and power. In authority, power receives legal sanction. Authority is the institutionalized form of power. Authority is not related to the person but to the status. We get to see authority in all the social, economic and political field. Authority is power is justified by justice, morality, religion and other cultural values. Authority is assumed to be the right to command, and the flow of authority is from top to bottom. Behind the authority is the legitimate power of the system or organization. The ruling is considered a symbol of power inherent in the organization. Hence, MacIver calls this the magic of governance. Authority is legally formal, but in reality the success of the command depends on the acceptance of the subordinates. When subordinates accept orders on the basis of their understanding and ability, then this position becomes authority. On the basis of all these characteristics, Max Weber classified three types of authority, which are legal authority, traditional authority and charismatic authority. When we discuss about the legal authority, one form of authority is legal authority. According to the laws made by the state, many posts are of this type, with which a specific type of power is attached. Therefore, whoever holds those posts, the power related to those posts also goes in their hands. For example, prime ministers, presidents, collectors, police officers, professors, etc., they have a special post which are sanctioned by laws known as legal power. For example, when a person becomes a collector, he also gets the power related to the post of collector, and he can use the powers and rights that are related to this post. The source of this type of authority does not lie in the individual's personal reputations, but in the authority of the rules by which the person holds a particular position. Therefore, it can be said that the source of legal authority are the legal rules under which a person occupies a specific position. In this, the more rights a person gets, the more he can use them. He cannot exercise power beyond that or more. Like a collector gets the facility of vehicle by the government, but he cannot use the vehicle for personal purposes. Therefore, the area of this power is limited to the statutory rules, that is legal rules. There is a fundamental difference between the legal authority of a person and the authority of his own external sphere. For example, a person is a collector. Then the authority obtained as a collector in his legal authority. But he is not only a collector. Rather, someone has a son, father, brother, husband, etc. In such a situation, the power enjoyed by the son, father, brother or husband is different from the power enjoyed by the post of collector. Being a son, he has to accept the higher authority of the father. In modern and complex societies, legal authority is created to maintain order, and its importance is also there. Power is transferred by appointing each person to the posts only after examining his ability and efficiency. This transfer of power takes place through stratification, through a hierarchy of high and low. The persons occupying higher positions gets the high power, and the persons occupying low positions gets power according to the dignity of the post. On the basis of the status, one can get the power. Second classification is traditional authority. This type of power is related to holding a position accepted by tradition. The legitimacy of this type of authority is based on tradition. It means transfer from generation to generation, one position to another, father to son, etc. There are many such positions in the society which have been going on for a long time, whose existence is due to traditional belief. The power that a person gets by holding these positions is called traditional authority. Such rulers assure people to obey their orders by saying that this is what has been happening. This is a tradition, hence they have to obey. The holders of the traditional authority also has the privilege of making personal decisions. In this way, on the one hand, the practice is followed, and on the other hand, the personal autocracy of the persons giving the order is also involved. It is because of love and sacred allegiance of the past that people obey the orders of such an authority. In Indian villages, the power enjoyed by Panch in the caste panchayat is a form of traditional power. In the same way, father, husband in the family and the head of the clan in the tribes, the authority over the slaves in the feudal system, example of traditional authority. Similarly, Jamidar is the best example of the traditional authority. The orders of the caste panch, father, lord and kings are obeyed not because they have any legal authority, but because it has been so for a long time. It has been a tradition. Legal authority is defined and limited by statutory rules because legal rules are clear and definite, whereas tradition and social rules are not so clear and definite. This is the reason that traditional authority is not limited and definite like legal authority. And the third type is charismatic authority. It is also called magical, charismatic or miraculous power. It is an authority from birth itself, or what is based neither on legal rules nor on tradition, but on the actual or perceived power of performing charismatic, extraordinary prodigies, virtues, miracles, wonder, magic. On the basis of all these, this is known as charismatic authority. Those persons of this type of authority are possessors in whom extraordinary qualities are obtained after birth, and the society accepts the power of their extraordinary ability or capabilities. It takes a lot of time for a person to establish power many times. Adequate resources, efforts and publicity are also required for a person to establish this authority. The authority that Mahatma Gandhi has in the heart of the Indians is charismatic power. This is the best example of charismatic power that Mahatma Gandhi has. Gandhiji's inspiration to Indians to take on the British by following the path of non-violence and following him even today by thousands of people is a reflection of his extraordinary talent and is no less than a charisma. Similarly, leaders like Mazzini in unification of Italy, Bismarck in Germany were exceptionally rich in charismatic power. In every nation, in emergency or challenging conditions, some persons of extraordinary talent came as a leader who resolved the challenges with his charisma or magic, perhaps keeping these examples in mind. Weber believes that a person with charismatic authority has some such unique or extraordinary qualities that he attracts other people to himself and people accept his personal authority, and that person is called a charismatic leader. This type of power can be seen in magicians, saints, prophets, avatars, religious leader, military warriors, leader of a party, etc. Miraculous abilities were inherent in Mahatma Gandhi, Subhash Chandra Bose, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Napoleon, Swami Vivekanand and Indira Gandhi. They had qualities that are not found in ordinary people. Due to the qualities of these people, reverence and respect for them automatically develops in the heart of every person. His qualities are sometimes considered to be equal to or a part of divine power or divine quality, in which people begins to express faith in that person. This power is not for any definite limits. That's why it is called temporary authority. As soon as the effect of a person's miracles or extraordinary power starts to decrease, the charismatic authority also starts to end. It means three types of important authorities described by Max Weber. One is traditional, legal and charismatic. So, we can say that power and authority both are different to each other. As a layman, sometimes they use synonymous to each other. So, we can say that all motions, all relations, all processes, all order and every phenomena that occurs in nature is a manifestation of power. Pareto, Max Weber and many other scholars have also considered power as a major basic of social stratification. Power is a major requirement of human life. It is an essential condition of his social and political life. The study of power has become a major topic in political sociology today. Kautilya considered punishment power also synonymous with power. He is of the opinion that the basis of all worldly life is punishment. Power in the form of control is necessary for security, peace, order, justice, freedom and development and progress of civilization in the society. Power is absolutely necessary for social order and no kind of social order can be imagined in the absence of power. It means power is the essential component of society. It is on the basis of power that the two main sections of society became the rulers and the ruled. The ruling class has power which is exercised over the common people or the governed. Man does not live alone in the society, but while living with other people, he also influences others and himself is also influenced by others. Influence means to influence the policies of others. Influence means one person to change another person as per his wish or to get the work done. There are two forms of influence, power and authority. If a person uses force or threatens to use force to get his point, then it is called power. And when power gets legal sanction, it is called authority. Max Weber has defined three types of authority. They are traditional authority, charismatic authority and legal authority. All these authority and power are important to each and every political institution as well as social institution, political structure as well as social structure.